Because real wealth doesn't need any announcement out there. There's a definition of being rich. Okay? Rich is when you have money and no time. Wealthy is when you have time to spend the money you make.
From South Africa to Dubai, Sashin Govender is the definition of self-made. He didn't follow the traditional education path, he built his own. Entrepreneur, investor, trader, and founder of Credibility X. Sashin believes real wealth is built on discipline, results, and trust. In a world chasing attention, he builds credibility.
Where I realized that I wasn't academically smart. I knew at that point I was not going to make it through the educational route. And that's when I realized I needed to reinvent myself, or I'd had to go and work for someone else. Success is a hard route. It's not something that's born overnight and given to you overnight.
Welcome to the OGs powered by Pepperstone. Today we have Sashin Govender. How are you today?
Amazing, brother. Thank you for having me. Thank you for hosting us here.
Sashin, I'm very excited about this podcast because you've been through a lot. You know, you have built so many companies, affiliates, you've been in trading as well, PR, media, now living here in Dubai, from South Africa. So let's talk about you first. You didn't grow up with privilege or a famous last name. What was the exact moment that you realized, if I don't build myself a real credibility, nobody's coming to save me? How did that start?
You know, it started from school.
Okay.
Where I realized that I wasn't academically smart. Like most people are conditioned the traditional route, I knew at that point I was not going to make it through the educational route. And that's when I realized I needed to reinvent myself, or I'd had to go and work for someone else.
Yeah.
I was so confident that I wasn't going to go through the educational route that on the final exam, when I was finished, a few weeks later to get your final certificate, I did not go back to school to collect it. I didn't even, back in South Africa, they publish your results in the national newspaper. I didn't even look at the newspaper. That's how confident I was that I was going to make it in something in life.
Okay.
What it was going to be, I didn't know. But the most important thing is that conviction, the belief that I was going to make it happen. And then prior to that, with the surroundings, the background, you know, when you come from a third world country, you can completely relate with, South America. I'm from Africa. Average income is $200-300 a month. That's one factor. Another factor was being able to, understand that my parents got separated when I was 2 years old. And that wasn't the easiest part of a family where two parents don't stay together.
Yeah.
So all of that just accumulated in the pain. And when you have enough pain, you have enough passion.
Okay.
And when you have enough mess in your life, eventually you have a message to lead with.
Okay. A message to lead with. And now let me go straight away to something that you're very experienced, but also you're very keen to talk and to learn more. Let's talk about trading. Okay? Because you have worked with high-level founders and investors in your life. How do you personally view trading, like income stream, skill development, or mental discipline? What do you think is more important of all of them?
You know, with trading, it's psychological game as well as you need to have the skill sets. Undoubtedly, you need to know what to do. Otherwise, it doesn't become a calculated trade. It becomes a gamble. So you really need to understand the markets. Fundamentals is a major factor, undoubtedly. But simultaneous to that, you need to have the right mindset. And Tony Robbins says 80% of life is psychological and 20% is the mechanics. I do believe that in the beginning phases, you need to understand the fundamentals, but eventually it becomes 80% of life within the trading space, psychological, because you need risk management. You need to understand what the perfect opportunities are. Once you meet your target for the day, you're literally done, because the markets are open Monday to Friday. And if you're in the crypto trading sector, the market's open 24/7, 365. So ultimately, you can trade any given period of time. But you need to have that discipline. You need to have the mindset. You need to have the ability to say, okay, I'm in control of the market. The market is not in control of me.
Okay. And then let's talk about something that's more deep about trading, and let's talk about traders. You have a lot of friends and acquaintances that are very successful traders, retail traders, Let's not talk about institutions. Institutions, they manage millions or billions of dollars every day in trading. But we have access to opportunities to trade, let's say, in crypto or CFDs or stock or gold. For example, with Pepperstone, you can trade with most of them. Now, something that we've seen based on social media, especially I talk by myself, there's a lot of Latin American traders that they preach they're very good, but they are not good traders, they're just good selling courses, for example.
Yeah.
But now people start to realize that in trading, your credibility is your track record. That's happening right now. You can see the track record of professional traders, people that trade for real, not only selling the courses. So do you see parallels between risk management in trading and reputation management in business?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in today's world, you can be a phenomenal marketer and you can sell a course. You can sell a membership where people can buy or get access to signals, education. And that's good, but the real money doesn't need other people's money to make you money. That's the real money, unless you're on the institutional level.
Yes.
So when you talk about retail, the majority of people need to master what they're doing, because at the end of the day, you can't really vet the process. You need to be able to see results. And that's where mentorship comes from, right? A lot of people are following people blindly based on what car they drive, what watch they wear, how are they traveling, what clothes they're wearing. We're living in a physical appearance lifestyle today. So, of course, undoubtedly, we need to focus on fundamentals. Start auditing the people you take advice from. Start looking deeper. Okay, great, you have trades. Okay, no problem. But at the end of the day, show me your results. Show me your trades. Show me your success ratio. And Pepperstone's a phenomenal brokerage, right? But you got some brokerages where things can also be a bit shady, right? So ultimately, you also need to audit that. You can't just go in blindly based on what's on an app or what's on a document or what's on a spreadsheet. So when you're making decisions, make it based on real measurable results, not based on lifestyle.
Okay.
Especially in Dubai.
Yes.
Come to a beautiful place like Dubai, things can be rented.
Yes.
And in 12 months down the line, the person goes back to the country they originally came from because they can't sustain this lifestyle.
That's true.
It's not the cheapest place to live in, right? So I think that's why it's so important for, to look at people that you follow. The loudest person is generally the person who you shouldn't follow.
Okay.
And the quietest person who has documented results. When I mean loud, I'm not talking about, you can be interviewed on a phenomenal podcast or publication. That's a classy, bespoke way of being loud. And then you can be loud by saying, hey, I've got this car, I've got this, and this is how you can get it to. Success is a hard route. It's not something that's born overnight and given to you overnight.
It's not overnight. And now talking about, so go and follow people that have real results, that have credibility, they have proven concept, they've been in the market for a long time. A lot of people, when they start trading, they don't think, they're not disciplined, they don't have a clear roadmap, and they have losses. So what did that teach you about decision making, because you have experience in trader as well, and a lot of friends that are traders. What did that teach you about decision making, and how has it changed the way that you approach big bets in business?
Firstly, you got to bet on yourself, right? So that's the first person you can only control the results from.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't control the results on any outside factor out there. So betting on yourself is somewhere that you can't really lose unless you're someone that's not inspired to take action and achieve results. So betting in the markets is a calculated bet. Whether it's trading in Forex or trading in crypto or trading in stocks, you've got to be able to understand that if your fundamentals are so good, your methodology on how you trade, your system on how you trade is so good because you are the top 1% in your industry, you're betting on yourself. So the broker is there to give you the best platform to trade on. But your fundamentals is the direction. Example, I can put you in a Ferrari today. I can give you the keys to the Ferrari. You might be able to start the car, but if you've never driven a exotic car before, or you don't have the financial resources to fuel the car with gas or petrol, eventually you're going to run out of steam.
Yeah.
So even with tires, eventually you're going to start to run out of tires. Now, do you have the financial resources to maintain and sustain that Ferrari? Now we're talking about Ferrari. I've got many friends who own Bugattis. They continuously tell me, Sashin, it's not a cheap car to go out there and drive, right? And what's very important is to understand you become a better vehicle in life based on your fundamentals, based on who you are, based on what you've accomplished, based on your actions, based on your results. It all forms you to be this phenomenal investor, trader, entrepreneur, and make sure that you're executing correctly.
Executing correctly. And now let's go more into the mindset and the inner game, right? So you were talking about, you have to be disciplined. You have to have fuel to go the extra mile. A lot of people work really hard, but very few actually win big, right? What mental shifts separate effort from outcomes for you?
Well, I look at it from a point of my foundation in life was self-development.
Okay.
And from a very young age of 8 years old, I was introduced to self-development. I'm 31 years old right now.
Mm-hmm.
So for 20 odd years, I've been consuming podcasts, audios, videos, books, seminars. And I've remained in student mode from the foundational level. And sometimes it's so difficult for us to forget what got us here and just go back to the basics. So every single day since I was 8 years old, I would consume 1 hour of self-development. Way before people started podcasts in 2019 during COVID because they had nothing else to do. Way before people started to listen to all these great podcasts out there. So I was back in the days going to seminars, listening to tapes, learning subconsciously. Tapes, yeah. When I was 8 years old, subconsciously. And the reason I did that was my parents introduced me to self-development as a way of therapy because that was the perfect way, as well as my dad was in insurance. Okay. So he was consuming a lot of self-development back in the days. Les Brown, Brian Tracy, Jim Rohn, back in the days. So when I look at that, that has become the foundation to who I have become today. And I've worked on my mind a lot to get me to where I'm at right now. So when people look at the external success, they start to believe this happened one day, or this happened in 1 month, or this happened in 1 year. Because you compare yourself to so many of these young individuals on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube who live a flashy lifestyle at 21, 23, 26 years old today. And you start to question yourself, am I worthy? I've lost out on time. What mistakes did I make? Why are they getting success at such a young age? They'll go through their own test. They'll go through their own storm eventually. We all will do in different shapes and forms. But really what we need to understand is we need to go back to the basics. We need to understand that every new chapter is a new beginning. A new year is on the brink of taking place in 2026. Right here, okay? Whenever you're watching this podcast, you could watch it on the first week of January 2026. You can watch it on July 2026. You can watch it on December 2026. You can even watch it 10 years from today. But I think the ultimate aim is to understand, don't start things on a new year because it's a resolution. Start it and build a foundation to your life, because 10, 20, 30 years from today, that's something that will be food for your soul, food for your mind, and continuously work on that mindset. People want success today and they're not willing to pay the price. I always say when you pay the price will eventually pay you. No matter what industry you're in, when you pay the price, and price is what you do when no one else is watching. It's very easy to sit in an office. It's very easy to work in front of your mentors, or your boss, or even if you own a company. It's very easy to work in front of people. But it's when the doors are closed and you're alone. What are you doing?
What are you doing? Two things that you mentioned, but just got me back. You know Pitbull, right? Pitbull, the singer.
Yeah.
He was listening tapes. I don't know if it was Jim Rohn or Tony Robbins. When he was going to a school, his mom was taking him on the car, and she was used to put tapes on the car. He didn't understand why his mom was listening to this.
Yeah, and that was preparing him subconsciously. Because we don't understand that it takes literally 1 split second to create a negative thought, but it takes hours, days, and even weeks to overtake and surpass that one negative thought with 14 positive thoughts to counterattack that one negative thought.
It's like leverage.
Correct. So you start to realize, why would you want to think negatively when you know it takes so much more effort to go out there and clean up that one negative thought? So when Pitbull was listening to it, subconsciously it was programming him. Programming. I'm sure he listened to Tony Robbins.
Probably.
And you know, today he performs on Tony Robbins' stages. That's not
a coincidence.
That's 100% by design.
By design.
So it's not luck. That's coincidental. That's on purpose.
You know, also you mentioned that you were not the best academically. You know, you mentioned all of this. Now let's talk about something that's very important for us, and especially for the new generation, or for millennials like me. So we have to unlearn a lot of stuff, because we were programmed when we were a child. You know, back in Colombia, it was you have to go to university, you have to have a diploma, you have to have a degree, you have to have a 9-to-5, which is okay to have a 9-to-5 or no. But we have to unlearn a lot of stuff.
Sure.
To learn new stuff, right? Like you said, you have to go through 14 positive things to get rid of one negative.
Yeah.
So what's one belief that you have to unlearn that was quietly keeping you stuck below your potential?
You know, there's so many, but to break it down, I would say the ability to lose focus in a very busy world. Because right now, when I first started off versus today, you know, you can go to 100 events in Dubai.
Yeah.
You can meet
day.
per day. You can no exaggeration. If you have the manpower, you can go to 100. There is 100 events per day in Dubai. And you can go from event to event to event to event. And you can meet new people all the time. And you can lose focus. But if you don't stay focused on your end goal, all you're really doing is detouring yourself. And if you put your final destination in a navigation system, right in the bottom, it's got the estimated time of arrival. It's got the route highlighted. You miss a turn, what happens? It makes it a bit longer. The journey becomes a little bit longer.
Yes.
So all you're really doing is you're detouring, you're taking yourself off track, and you're distracting yourself. So it's so easy to get lose focus here. And you know, focus stands for follow one course until successful. If you really stay focused in life and you don't question the process, you don't question the results, you only question your activities, you question your consistency, you question you. Stop questioning when the universe is going to give you success. Stop questioning when God is meant to make that timing happen. Stop questioning your results, because you can't control that, but you can control your activity. So for me, it was the ability to remain focused.
Okay.
And I've started many times in business, and I've also, you know, learned many times in business. I can't say fail, because you only fail the day you give up, right? I've learned so much in business by going through adversity. You know, I recall when I was at the pinnacle of my career around 2019, where I built a travel, lifestyle, luxury company and helped expand that company from $250,000 to $5 billion with 4 million people on subscription. And that was one of like 20 odd businesses I've ever launched and taken to the next level. But that particular business got killed by COVID. You would assume the travel industry never experiences the word recession. But the universe or God has a way to humble you at the highest form of life.
That's true.
The bigger the test, the bigger the testimony. The bigger the mess, the bigger the message that you need to share. So going back to the focus level, staying focused even when it's time to get distracted. You don't have to come out of your house when everything is going great for you. You don't have to go raise your hand and go give someone a handshake and connect with someone new when things are going great for you. Those processes are the testing times of whether you want more, whether you're willing to help more people, whether you're ready for the next level.
Before we carry on, I want to take a moment to thank Pepperstone for supporting the OGs. Pepperstone has been a trusted name in trading since 2010, giving traders around the world access to global markets with tight spreads, fast execution, and professional platforms like MetaTrader, CTrader, and TradingView. What stands out about Pepperstone is their commitment to transparency, regulation, and excellence, quality that align perfectly with what we value here at the OGs. So to our partners at Pepperstone, thank you for believing in this community and for empowering traders to push the boundaries of what's possible. Now, let's get back to it. I'm talking about helping people and getting to the next level. Let's talk about attention and being credible. So everyone is chasing attention right now. You have the top content creators in the world, not only celebrities that bring in movies or reality TV stars. Now we have the streamers, kids in their 20s, in their 15 years old, they have millions and millions of people looking at them all the time. So now one thing is being famous, one thing is being talented or successful or whatever, but other thing is being credible, right? And you always arguing that credibility matters more. Why is attention without credibility actually dangerous for founders and entrepreneurs and business owners?
Yeah, so let's dissect the word attention. You can gain attention in any possible way. It's very simple. You can run across the road naked.
Yeah.
And you'll get attention.
Yeah.
But do you have credibility from getting that attention? So I was a firm believer from a very young age to make sure that I build a reputable name from day one. The intention was very pure because I understood you can be known for all the great things you do, but in a split second, you can destroy everything you've ever built. And it could come from a tweet. Maybe you misunderstood from someone else. Maybe you spoke about religion or politics and someone else misunderstood you and they obviously judged you based on what you wrote. So when I look at attention is to basically grab people's, time. Make them lose focus of what they're doing and start focusing on you. Credibility, on the other hand, today in this world right now, it can be bought. Unfortunately, you can go and buy a car today and you can be credible if you buy a car. You can even be renting a car and you can be credible today. So to break it down, you've got to understand that there's different forms of attention. There's also different forms of credibility. I always suggest to people, whatever you do it in a 10-year period. So if you want to do a podcast, be the best podcast host for 10 years. People will notice how authentic you are. If you want to be a doctor, be the best doctor for 10 years. Help enough people. If you want to be a street sweeper, be the best street sweeper the world has ever had. Whatever you're doing, be the best at it. People will recognize you, people will notice you, and people will see your authenticity and people will buy into your credibility. Now, credibility makes a huge factor. It plays a huge role in business. Because today, if you put a link in your stories or in your bio, that's credibility. People will go click on it and it's a driving force to who you are and what you've accomplished. I'm always in the mindset of if you help enough people get what they want from life, you'll get what you deserve. So if you switch the pitch and you start putting people first, your credibility will be formed by how many people you help. You just got to have a very authentic, heart. You got to come from a very authentic place and you've got to start building relationships. If you're building a relationship, build the best relationship for 10 years. We meet so many people, brother. But the difference is we're not the types of people to push a check in front of the individual to see a transaction today. Let's build a relationship. The business will follow us when it's time for it to follow us.
Now, talking about building relationships, listen to this. What is the difference between looking successful and being trusted? And how does that gap affect money, deals, and leverage?
Looking successful. That was me when I was 18 to 24 years old.
Yes.
I was making a lot of money, more money than I could spend. And if I had the chance to book an economy flight or a first class flight or business flight, I'd book it at that age, 18 to 24, 26 years old. Why? Because, I needed to post a picture on social media to look the
successful
part.
Yeah.
Correct. Then on top of that, if you had to buy clothes, I'd buy something that would scream
that you have
wealth
money. Yes.
or scream you have finances. So looking successful would also be, great. I want to buy a brand new car every 2-3 years or whatever that looks like. Ultimately, you're in the chasing game. People will never understand that until you go through it. In the beginning stages, you're in the chasing game, because guess what's going to happen next year? There'll be an iPhone 18 that comes out.
Yeah.
You're chasing that for a few $1,000, $1,000 to $2,000. The following year, there'll be another iPhone coming out. Every 2 years, there'll be a new facelift or every 4 years, facelift on that car. Every single, season, there'll be new clothes that comes out for that brand. Ultimately, it's not about you selling yourself anymore via what you wear, what you drive, because real wealth doesn't need any announcement out there. Real wealth is my brand. Real wealth is my value. Real wealth is what can I bring to the table. There's a definition of being rich. Okay? Rich is when you have money and no time. That's what everyone chases in the beginning. They want money, they want to look wealthy, but they don't have the time in the end of the day. Wealthy is when you have time to spend the money you make. You have time and money. You don't have to work and the money still flows to you every single day. So eventually, after time, you learn sometimes it's better to dress classy, but no one needs to know it's Xenia. No one needs to know it's Laura Piana, because those brands aren't going out there and screaming, look at me. I'm not against all these brands. They're doing a phenomenal job at getting you to wear it that says Louis Vuitton and Gucci and market their product. Subconsciously, you don't even know you're marketing their product. The wealthiest people in the world, they don't even need to be noticed.
And that's also happening with the best traders in the world, the people that are creating wealth every day in the market. I have seen the pattern. I have met with a couple of them. The most successful, they don't wear anything flashy. They don't even want to tell people they have this amount of wealth.
Correct.
They're not screaming, I'm wealthy. And the best way to learn or to meet those people is depend on the circle or the meeting that you get invited.
Yeah.
You go to this meeting invite and a very, very close, very inner circle, and you get invited to this, that's when you say, okay, I'm making good moves.
Correct. And what's key to understand, when you're so focused on your craft, you don't have to waste 10 minutes every single day deciding what you want to wear, right?
The all black.
Look at the guy that owns Tether.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very simple.
And with the
Multi-billionaire, marketing his own product, very simple. And I'm not against dressing classy. I like dressing up. It's something that has always been a part of my look
DNA.
and feel.
Yeah,
It boosts your confidence. But do you need confidence from a brand?
No.
Or do you have confidence internally with or without
within.
anything that justifies who you are?
Yeah. That's why we're mainly black. And now blue with Pepperstone. Now, let's talk about credibility. So you could build a personal brand agency under your own name, Sashin Govender, right? Why do you choose to build Credibility X instead? And what does that signal to the market?
Eventually you start to realize that the currency of the world is credibility. The currency of the world is media. It's getting people's attention. There's 3 things right now that are being controlled: media, food supply, as well as solar, where you're going. That's where we're moving towards. There's a very famous saying, you will own nothing and you'll be happy.
Yes.
And that's the direction we're moving into, right?
Own nothing, control everything.
Correct. So now we're playing chess 10 moves in advance, 5 to 10 moves in advance. We're not playing checkers for today. So why did I create this? Based on credibility. Credibility X is the most futuristic company. And ultimately, I want one mission. I want to help people gain more credibility. I want to help the average human being who knows nothing about it. And I also want to help someone who has the credibility, but amplify it to the next level. And I even created something bigger than me. My company can be my name, right? But this is far beyond Sashin Govender. This is not a Sashin Govender business. This is a legacy business. And that is the intention. So we can create it based on the legacy of my last name, or we can create it and move the focus based on helping people achieve one single word, and that's credibility.
Credibility. And now let me touch up a very important topic that's happening in 2025, and it's been happening for the last 4 years. There is so many industries and companies that they have CEOs, right? And the CEOs, they're becoming more aware that they need to go out there and build a personal brand. So we have, let's go back again to, let's say, Elon Musk. Elon Musk has a conglomerate of companies, trillion-dollar companies, but his personal brand is at the epicenter of everything.
Sure.
You have Mark Zuckerberg as well, with Meta, with Facebook, with Instagram, whatever, but his personal brand is so strong that you cannot take it from him. And then you have, let's discuss also Donald Trump. His personal brand is so strong that you cannot take it away from him. So in a world where entrepreneurs are building brands themselves, but building brands, corporate brands, what is the message for all the CEOs or C-levels or founders or co-founders that they're been thinking to go into the public eye on social media, creating content, creating a podcast, creating blogs? What would be that message from your perspective? Do you think it's still late to start to build a personal brand because maybe the competition took over, or it's never late to start to do it?
So personal brand is your business card. It represents you when you're in the room. It represents you when you're not in the room. It's never too late to start building your legacy. Your legacy is your name. Your first and last name is what is remembered when you pass away today. It's not how many cars you had. It's not how flashy your lifestyle was. It really isn't how many business you own. Your personal brand is literally the currency of helping you close deals today. Now, I understand why people are turned off about it, because there's ways you can do it and there's ways you shouldn't do it. Okay. But ultimately, there's bespoke, classy ways to build a personal brand today. For example, you have, which 90% of people don't have. Even 99% of people don't even have a simple website. Andreas, they don't even have a website.
They don't have their own domain.
Correct. And how cheap is a domain? Like $15.
Yes.
Okay. They're not even interested in having a website. They don't understand that by having a website, that's one of the highest ranking domains out there. That's what you can control. It's like your Wikipedia page for someone that's very influential. You can put all your social media handles on it. You can put your bio on it. You can create a CV digitally for people to actually find you out there. And so start off with a website. The second thing you should really do is create free social media accounts. There's like 6 platforms out there: Facebook, Insta, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn. I've already named 6. There's many that's been created. Off camera, we spoke about some, but I think ultimately create a free account. Those 2 things cost you $0 if you know how to do it yourself. Then on top of that is being able to say, if you don't have the time, if you don't have the expertise to create the content, hire someone that can do it for you. Then the next level, to take it to the next level, is to make sure you actually achieve your goal. If your goal is to be known, to be seen, create a podcast. It doesn't cost much to have a podcast created. You can start from holding a cell phone that you already have, and start monetizing that cell phone. Start interviewing yourself. Start putting out information that changes other people's situations. Then you lead to having the right press and publications and authorities out there that endorse you and talk about you. And then it leads to different parts. Maybe in the future you want to launch a book. Okay, so I think the key is to understand starting a brand is not difficult. That's the reason why most people don't start. They don't start because they believe it's difficult. They believe it takes too much of time, and they believe they can't do it. But it's the best thing I've ever done. In 2012, when I was 18 years old, I started my personal brand. My brand is my name, Sashin Govender. And ultimately, although I've run and owned more than 20 companies and invested into more than 100 different companies, I'm not branded as if I own 100 different companies. I'm not branded to every one of the 20 companies I own. I am branded to my first and last name. And if people want to do business, they sit in front of me. And I find the synergy with one of the companies that I run. Even my media company, I don't speak about it to every single person, although it's evaluated a few $100 million right now. And we've taken it to a unicorn company, one of the biggest media companies around the world with Credibility X. And what we're doing is completely different to what anyone else is doing. We become the oxygen of media. We're building something. And you brought it up. Why did Donald Trump win the USA election? Because he's a brand.
Yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo is not a soccer player. He's a brand. He uses football as a methodology to build his brand. He's on TV every single week.
The Rock.
100%. The Rock. He's the smartest guy. He's not an actor.
And he's not a wrestler.
Correct. He used all of these different methodologies to build a brand. And today's world we're moving towards is branding is the currency to help you become who you want to be in life.
And talking about who you want to become in life, let me go back again to trading because it has to be, it's connected. So something that happened, and I have seen it in the last few years in any trading, you say crypto, gold, Forex. I have seen, especially in emerging markets like Latin America or South Africa or you name it, there is a pattern of people, and I want that people that are watching this and listening to this podcast understand this very well. There's a lot of content creators in the finance economy, that they're the one that get paid very well.
Yeah.
But there is two kinds. The one that are promoting their own course, right? That's selling the dream of I have a Lamborghini, I have a Patek, I go every 2 days to the nightclub, I work from a beach club, on my laptop trading. That's that kind of, and maybe they do money trading, but mainly they're doing courses, right? And then you have the professional trader. And within the professional trader, there's two kinds. The professional trader that don't show anything of their lives, right? They're just very reserved. They're making wealth, And then they have the professional trader that showing the results and teaching for real people how to trade. Do you think in one point these people that's creating content just to sell courses, they will understand the meaning of the real wealth and the real power within trading come from being authentic and showing real results, or it will take a while until we're still seeing these people creating courses and not giving value?
Yeah, so I'm in the game of marketing, so I see this firsthand. I see people come to me who are traders and in different sectors, and they ask me to blow them up in a potential way where they're actually known, seen, and respected. And, ultimately I can do that for them. But what starts to happen is they run out of steam with a few losses that they can't sustain the lifestyle that they're living because they're impressing people they don't even know or they don't even like with things they can't even afford today. So I always believe, don't hate the player.
Okay.
Hate the game, because ultimately this is the game. The more people that keep doing this, the more players will still keep coming and getting inspired and want to sell courses, want to sell ebooks, want to put you in their mailing list and do certain things. So ultimately, how do you move from loud money, which is not really big money, to real money? Well, very simple. As a trader making noise, you need to start authenticating yourself.
Okay.
There will be a day that this process becomes more vetted. Governments will jump onto it.
It's happening in the
It's
UAE.
already
You have to have
happening.
license. You have to have media license, influencer license, finance influencer license.
Yeah.
A lot now.
And it'll be more regulated and it'll cut the fat out.
Yes.
And then there'll be people who get around that. But I think ultimately, people are starting to become a little bit more smarter today. They're starting to realize after getting their hands burnt once, they're realizing, okay, don't go back and get burnt again. And some people are happy getting burnt all the time. But ultimately, follow people who have values. Don't follow people who have what's for sale.
Okay. I'm talking about values. I'm talking about what's coming in 2026. I know you have traded yourself. You have a lot of friends that are very good professional traders in Forex, in crypto, whatever. 2025 was a year that's been all over the place. We have gold at the top. We have Bitcoin at the top. Everything is happening. And then obviously the market fluctuates a lot. Now, how you see, in your personal opinion, how you see the market of Forex, CFDs, crypto, gold, how you see it for 2026? Are we going to see a big shift? Is a good time to join and learn? What are your thoughts?
I believe a lot of people are going to be surprised. This is going to be a year that is not going to be as calculated as people predicted. Generally, the markets does the opposite of what people predict, right? Historically, every single September, October, November, and even December has been very positive months in markets like cryptocurrency. We've seen the complete opposite this cycle versus 2020, 2016, etc. Look at October. Bitcoin was probably the worst trading asset within October onwards. Coming into 2026, post-election, people believe the bull market's over. It's going to surprise a lot of people. I always believe it's always going to surprise people. What you expect will not happen according to your plan. Also, we must understand this is going to be the second year of United States President Donald Trump. He's not going to leave after 4 years waiting for no all-time high again.
Okay.
He's going to make sure the markets has everything of the best, the highest price points. We're seeing it with gold and silver. Why? Because of conditions. Ultimately, a lot of people will get hurt based on trading with leverage or trading with no knowledge. And then you're going to have the high quality people who are going to make money. Be smart. Just how you're smart, people tell you be smart during December period in the sense of, there's a lot of people, holiday makers, there's a lot of crime in certain countries. It's the worst time to drive because of accidents. The rates just increase. Be smart throughout 2026. And I think the key thing is have more control. Be smarter, invest more, be wiser, learn more, study more, research more. 2026 is going to be for those who calculate via chess match and predict rather than guess and pray and hope that it wins.
You heard it from Sashin Govender. Sashin, it's been so refreshing having you in the podcast. I have just the very last question. If you have to start from scratch again today, what industry or platform or technology would you choose?
To be very transparent with you, Andreas, I wouldn't change anything that I've done. I would start in the exact same industry when I was 18 years old in network marketing. Why? Yes, there's a lot of FUD around the industry. It taught me so much about life, taught me so much about business. It taught me how to market. It taught me how to network. It taught me how to build relationships. It taught me how to sell. It taught me how to lead myself and people, personal development. So that's something I would have never have done differently.
Okay.
The only thing I would have done differently, Andreas, is I would have invested much earlier. I mean, I can't account for the Ferrari that I bought at 24 years old today. I can't account for the Aston Martin that I bought at 21 years today. Can't account for all the watches I bought. I can't account for the properties I rented at a very young age. What I can account for is the assets I invested into that's paying me today, the real estate that I bought that's paying me today, the self-development that I invested into that's paying me today, the brand I invested into that paid me today. So we all have choices. Do you invest into liabilities or do you invest into assets? I would not change anything else to the path that I've been through. I wouldn't even change the fact that I would want to, change that my parents got separated at 2 years old. I wouldn't want to change that as well because that helped me get to where I'm at. What I would change is the stupid, dumb things that I did at a very young age that people are still doing today at 30, 40, 50, 60 years old today. They're still doing it today, trying to look cool, trying to look expensive. Rather focus your money on assets, bet on yourself, invest into your brand, invest into your self-development, your mind, invest into the resources that elevate your life, because that's something no economy can justify whether your mind is going through a recession. Your life is going through a recession. Your brand can never go through a recession. Bet on you, the only thing that cannot lose based on external factors.
You know something that you made me remember right now is when you bet on you it's because you are honest about yourself. And something that they have in Pepperstone, the CEO, I interviewed the CEO 2 weeks ago, and he mentioned something that it got me. At Pepperstone, they do everything with honesty. They want the long term, but the fair trade. They want to be established forever, not just a quick win and get out. And they want everybody being honest with themselves, with the community, with the traders, with everyone. So when you're honest with yourself, you bet on yourself even higher.
Sure.
And that's why you are here in the OGs, Sashin. Thank you so much for coming
my
today.
brother. Thank you.
And thank you so much for everybody to watching. And I'll see you in the next episode, powered by Pepperstone. Take care.
Take care.